Today, Silent Hill PT has risen from the grave. Ooh, spooky. This is CheckPoint. Hello and welcome to the start of 2019. Editor's note, insert air horn noise here.
Now, technically 2019 started 7 days ago, but can anything truly be said to have happened if CheckPoint wasn't around to report on it?
If a tree falls in a forest and lands on a game jam, does it make a sound?
Yes, because we would probably report on that because a game jam in a forest is silly. Overwatch was hit with storm arrows of controversy over the holidays after Overwatch League minor team Second Wind announced they had signed a new player named Ellie. The usual gender suspicion, harassment, and doxing threats ensued, but in a twist, it turned out the mononymous Ellie was not who she claimed to be and was actually the Smurf account of a high-level male player named Punisher. The line going around the internet is that the whole thing was a social experiment, but I'm not really sure what the point was. Was the point to shine a light on how hostile the Overwatch community is to women? Because we've already seen that happen to Giguri when she debuted for the Shanghai Dragons. Was it to prove how difficult it is for a female player to be taken seriously? Sorry, man, we already have plenty of examples that have happened to real people, and all this has done is reinforce the behavior of assholes who perpetuate the endlessly misogynistic and transphobic accusations of, are you really a woman? And, well, if a woman is doing that, well, she must be cheating. Was Punisher just trying to see how long he could personally deal with the harassment and threats women in esports deal with every day? Well, bad news, buddy, you didn't even make it 2 weeks. So to sum up, the only thing we learned here is that Punisher is probably claiming this is all a social experiment because he's trying to cover up what he imagined would be a hilarious prank, which means he's both stupid and an asshole. Good job.
In a rare Star Citizen update, they are threatening to actually release some of the game in 2020. Squadron 42, the single-player campaign of the Star Citizen Persistent Universe, is still without an announced release date, but there is a roadmap that shows an expected release of summer 2020, thanks in no small part to an influx of $46 million from a private billionaire investor, or, for a sense of scale, about as much as Star Citizen raises in the course of a year. Record executive Clive Calder and his son, movie producer Keith Calder, are behind the investment, and we hope they at least get one of those fancy custom ships. Speaking of billionaires, some potentially huge news coming out of Korea, with Nexon's Kim Jong-ju looking to possibly sell his shares, which is almost a 90% controlling stake, in the company worth up to $9 billion US. So it's not like Nexon itself is up for sale, but it's almost exactly like Nexon is up for sale. The South China Morning Post theorizes that Tencent might consider buying it, allowing us to remind you once again that Tencent owns everything. The Post posits, however, that Tencent might not be willing to take that kind of monetary plunge after China's new Games Ethics Committee had frozen approvals for new games to be sold in China, and while they did recently thaw that freeze a bit and allow 80 new games, none of them were from Tencent. Wait, where was I? Right, the exec who produced the Backstreet Boys invested more money than I'll ever see in my life into a high-fidelity spaceship sim. Got it.
You like scary games? You hate Konami? Well, good news, you no longer have to buy a PS4 on eBay to play Hideo Kojima's amazingly scary PT. To refresh your memory, PT was a free Silent Hills teaser that Konami released to promote a game that Kojima was working on with Guillermo del Toro and Norman Reedus. Then Konami fired Kojima, canceled the game, and removed the listing from the PlayStation Store, leading to its somewhat mythical status today. But luckily for us, developer Radius Gordello has lovingly and extremely competently recreated the whole thing on PC, and it's available for free on itch.io. And it even works in VR. Sort of. But anyhow, keep in mind that for extra authenticity, it uses all the sound and character models from the original, so it's like extra illegal. And therefore, if your 2019 resolution was to spend more time shitting your pants, I'd get on that download.
In an update to the ongoing legal trubs between Star Control developers Stardock Corporation and Star Control developers Fred Ford and Paul Ritchie, Star Control Origins has been removed from Steam and GOG following a DMCA takedown from Ford and Ritchie. For a quick refresher, Stardock had bought the Star Control name and some amount of assets from Star Control 3 from Atari, And Ford and Ritchie, founders of Toys for Bob and the creators of the original Star Control, retained rights to the assets and IP from Star Control 1 and 2, which was apparently not what Stardock thought they were buying, but they're pretty sure they are allowed to sell games with the IP. When they found out there might be legal issues, Stardock went ahead and made Star Control Origins anyway, allegedly hoping that by making the game they would use it as clout to roll over the conflict with Ford and Ritchie. In fact, Stardock had tried to file an injunction preventing Ford and Ritchie from filing their DMCA claim, but that injunction was dismissed, with the judge stating, "The harm plaintiff complains of is indeed of its own making. Plaintiff had knowledge of defendant's copyright claims from the outset. Despite that knowledge, it developed potentially infringing material without resolution of the IP ownership issues, and then publicized the release of that material during the pendency of this action. It now claims its investment in Origins and reputation are on the line. Given that plaintiff largely created the foregoing predicament, the court is disinclined to extricate plaintiff from a peril of its own making," which is just about as much of a sick dunk as a stenographer ever gets to write down. So the score after the first period is still actually really confusing, because this is a years-long legal battle that involves all manner of wacky IP law, and nobody really knows what's up. Feels good to be back. I can tell 2019 is going to be a much better year, a much more positive year, a less stupid year.
I feel like that sentiment is directly opposed to many of the stories we just reported on.
A more gullible year?
Well, literally anything will be an improvement, so sure. Coming up, bad news for Bowsette fans. According to the official site for new Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, only Toadette can wear the super crown that transforms her into a super-powered Peach clone. Nice try, Nintendo, but Smut finds a way.
Wait, am I? Ah, my chair was too high. I like that they said specifically, they're like, sorry, Luigi, only Toadette can wear the super crown. And it's like,
nobody wanted to
dog,
put that
no
on.
one was talking about Luigi.
Yeah.
I mean, they should be now.
Yeah.
Yeah, well now all the fan artists, I assume, are going to be like, oh, fucking really, Nintendo? We'll see about that.